War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast. This is our somewhat regular get-together with you in audio format to catch you up on the latest Auburn news, topics, discussions, things that you need to be aware about when you're going around the water cooler talking on social media, helping you be more informed about the Auburn experience, which to us is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today. Episode 77 of Ever to Podcast. Today's date is October 30th, 2025, and the last time that we'll get together on this particular show, as far as I know, for the month of October. So I hope you all had a great October. Enjoy the Halloween, and stay safe out there as well as having a good time out there. And we'll be back together on this show in November. But we got stuff to take care of here. We're going to catch you up on all those things. Obviously, I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis. And what we're going to be talking about today is the rest of prepping for Auburn, Kentucky, give you the information you need to know about the Auburn weekend, and a bunch of other news stories that have happened since our last time we got together, / things that we've been putting off throughout the week to talk about on this episode. So let's see how much we can get to in the Auburn experience today. Start you off with your Auburn weekend stuff. I like to do this on the Thursday shows for this series just so that you kind of know what you have to look forward to, what you need to be paying attention to. Most of you know the big stuff, but let's keep you really well informed. And this is actually going to stretch from tonight, Thursday, the 30th, all the way into Monday. And that may happen a lot just because we don't usually get together on Mondays unless it's a necessary thing on this show. So let's start here. Obviously, tonight is the second preseason men's basketball game, Auburn versus Memphis in Atlanta. For those of you that are attending, awesome. Great. Hope you have a great time there. Those of you that are watching on War Eagle Plus exclusively tonight, congratulations. The rest of us are not going to be able to watch that if you don't have a War Eagle Plus. And I do not believe it is being broadcast. I checked the app for a radio broadcast tonight on the Auburn Athletics app, and it looks like they even say the next scheduled one will be November 3rd, the actual first game of the year. A little bit of foreshadowing for our Auburn weekend segment here. So that's what's going on this Thursday night. Friday, you're going to have track and field at the SEC Championships. That's going to be in Knoxville. And that's not track and field, that's cross country, but it's part of the same program at the SEC Championships in Knoxville. Equestrian is going to be at TCU, taking them on as part of their fall schedule. Moving on to Saturday, and as just a quick community reminder, I believe downtown Auburn is still doing a little bit of Halloween stuff downtown. And I think even there's a pumpkin carving contest or something going on campus earlier in the morning on that same day. There should be some things going around town on campus if you want to get involved in the Halloween harvest type of stuff. But Saturday, the main thing, the only thing, is football versus Kentucky at 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. Obviously looking very forward to that. On Sunday, you've got volleyball at Georgia in Athens at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central. You've got soccer playing their first game, and hopefully what will be their first game and many more in the SEC tournament versus LSU down in Pensacola, Florida. And then Monday, you'll also have the start of the season for everybody in the basketball world, men's and women's. Women's first at Charlotte, in Charlotte, North Carolina, 4:30 Central Time, followed by the men playing Bethune-Cookman at 7 Central Time. That is a very busy Auburn weekend extended for you to get you started on this episode. Let's dive into some week notes for Auburn, Kentucky. Last bit of things that are being talked about, discussed. We've heard press conference. We've heard player Q&As. We have heard from the SEC teleconference this week. Now we've also heard from a last Q&A with Freeze after practice today, and also gotten a first look at the SEC injury reports for this particular weekend. So we'll use that to reference the comments of Coach Freeze made and was asked about in his Q&A. Your current, as of Wednesday night, so there will be another one Thursday and I believe Friday as well, current picture of injuries out, as has been the case and will be the case for now, Horatio Fields and definitely Connor Liu out for the year. Questionable is Malcolm Simmons, more on that in a second, Cam Coleman, Connor Gibbs, kicker, and defensive lineman Jordan Crawford. So obviously we know that Cam's been working through it. It sounds like we're continuing to progress and that he is going to play and the phrase that Coach Freeze used was give it a go. But the other thing that happened, Malcolm Simmons being listed on there, was a bit of a shocker for a lot of people. Apparently it was just like a freak accident in practice, but he's working through it. So I'm not sure to what extent we've gotten a lot of information on that, but that's something certainly to monitor. The wide receiver core right now is pretty banged up, having lost Horatio Fields for the year. Cam's dinged up. Malcolm is dinged up as well. So really, this is a great opportunity if you're Perry Thompson to really light a fire and make your name here at Jordan-Hare if you're thinking about it that way. Connor Gibbs will eliminate an option for you in terms of distance kickers. He's nursing a hip flexor right now. And Jordan Crawford seems like, I don't know if we got a clarification of what the practice injury was, but he is listed as questionable. Freeze said he was doubtful that he would play. So that's a little bit of a blow to what's been a very potent defensive line, especially against the run. We'll see if that has any effect on it. Other commentary from Freeze, no indication from him if he's made a decision or the staff's made a decision on who will start at quarterback. Continues to reiterate how great of starts that Jackson has gotten the team off to, but reiterating that they'll make a switch if they need to, if that's what they end up doing, just like last week. So that's really the main notes from this particular Q&A session that are important to know. And keep in mind, Wear Navy, big game. Come on out. It's going to be your last opportunity to see Auburn in Jordan-Hare, and a nighttime game for sure. I just don't foresee it happening again the rest of the season. The only other option would be Alabama, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be a 2:30 kickoff, as it typically tends to be most years these days. Let's do some other football notes, things that we should have probably talked about a little bit earlier in the week. Xavier Atkins, all I got to do is say his name, and most of you are like lighting up right now, one of the really big bright spots of the season, how well he has been doing on the defensive side of the ball. Finally starting to get a lot of that recognition from others outside of Auburn. He was the player of the week for the Bronco Nagurski National Defensive Player of the Week honor. And then he also got the Chuck Bednarik Award watch list as well for not just this past week, but for the weeks that he's been putting together. Stacking weeks together has been the thing that coaches talked about and reiterated a lot. And one more thing from his Q&A, his focus this week, and especially towards the end of the week, was about how pleased he was with their prep and asking the players, imploring them about going just a bit further in all aspects, not just on the field, but off the field, and taking it a step further this week so that they don't get complacent after finally getting that win that's been eluding them for the last several weeks. So some football notes right there to get you hungover for there, or not hungover, but held over until the particular game gets here on Saturday. Men's golf had a very fun week into their fall season. It has ended, but they had, I would probably say from outside looking in, what most would consider a rougher fall. They did win their last tournament, getting the first place, finishing that. Josiah Gilbert actually was the SEC Golfer of the Week for his performance in that particular tournament that week. So congrats to Josiah. Congrats to the team for a strong finish, so much so that Clipped Rankings put them at number 4 of the year to end out the fall schedule. Jackson Coyven, the star of the team, listed at number 14 overall. So still some room for them to improve, but not a bad place to stop off in at the end of the fall season for them. A quick note for you guys, just because I'm starting to see some of the athletic programs talk about it. You are just inside of 2 weeks from a signing day arriving for a lot of these teams. Believe that will be men's and women's basketball, several others as well. Now, that's usually just an early signing period, but don't be shocked. In about 2 weeks, you see a lot of those coming through in terms of a lot of the programs. We know that football is a little bit different, and some other situations are too. But something for you, the fan, especially those of you that I call the recruiting junkies out there, hopefully you'll get a lot to be excited about on 2 weeks from now, roughly under 2 weeks from now. Volleyball, I want to give a shout out to them. Having a great season, bounce back year, beat South Carolina last night, went down 0-1 in sets, but then swept them after that, pretty much 3-1. They get the win, South Carolina, and continue their tear. Currently, I think they were ranked at 6th in the SEC. I don't know if that's expanded for them or moved up for them after the performance yesterday, but currently right there in the firmly entrenched in the top half of the SEC for SEC volleyball. And final note for you, just because it came out this week, football will be taking on Vanderbilt at 3 p.m. Central Time. That game time got announced earlier in the week for next week. We'll do our focusing on that when the time comes. With that being said, that is going to do it for us here at Ever to Podcast and the weekly news catch-ups for you. We're going to remind you, as always, to check out all the content that we have out there for you, whether it is a podcast here, several other options of podcast on this feed for you, our YouTube channel for live streams and videos, social media, everywhere. There are links available for you to access that if you need, or if you need help doing that, e2cnetwork@gmail.com. We appreciate you being here, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. As we go, I want to remind you, the Auburn Creed asks you to do these things: to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.